The Supreme Court's ruling on Friday to overturn Roe v. Wade is now raising fears the decision could impact fertility treatments such as in vitro fertilization. According to the CDC, about 2 in every 100 children born in the U.S. are conceived through IVF. During IVF, an egg is fertilized in a laboratory to create an embryo. The embryo is then returned to the woman's womb or to a surrogate to grow and develop. The process sometimes leaves unused fertilized embryos. For more on this, I'm joined by Adam Wolf. He's a fertility attorney for Pfeiffer, Wolf, Carr, Kane, Conway, and Wise. Welcome. Let's start with just the decision. How does this decision affect IVF clinics and the fertility industry?
Sure. Well, I think lots of people are rightly focusing on how this is going to devastate access to abortion for women around the country. One of the things people are talking about less, but we're going to hear a whole lot about in the years to come, is how it's going to shut off effective, safe access to fertility treatments for American women. Why is that? There are millions of embryos that are being held in fertility clinics around the country. Those are, in the words of the Supreme Court, fertilized eggs, or one could say that they're the beginnings of human life. The Supreme Court has said that we should be able to regulate those embryos. When people can, if those embryos are going to be discarded, can they be regulated too? It's a very scary proposition for fertility clinics and patients of fertility clinics around the country.
So what does a fertility clinic do in this period while everybody's trying to figure out this ruling and future challenges that might come down?
There is a lot of uncertainty in fertility clinics, not just in Texas and Mississippi and states with trigger laws, but in states like California and New York too. So let me give you a couple examples. We've represented thousands of people who have had their embryos destroyed without authorization at fertility clinics, mishaps, freezers going kaput. In those situations, have fertility clinics committed homicide? Might there be wrongful death actions? Time will tell, but in the logic of the Supreme Court's opinion, those types of claims against fertility clinics might be able to proceed, and that's very scary news for fertility clinics.
And what about anyone who is considering IVF or anything else, any other fertility procedure that would now put them in this new post-Roe world?
Sure. Let me give another example. People around the country at fertility clinics typically have many more embryos than they will be able to need. And at the end of their family journey, they usually advise the clinic that the clinic may discard their embryos. You don't need to hold on to them forever. But if those embryos are the foundations of human life, if they are the, quote, life of the unborn, as the Supreme Court put it, maybe people won't be able to actually discard those embryos. Maybe fertility clinics won't be able to discard them at their patients' directions. And if that's right, might we then have millions, tens of millions of embryos that are just in this state of limbo, that they can't be discarded because they're potential human life, but people don't want to use them either?
So do all of these concerns rely on future legal action that would be taken that would then require a decision from the courts consistent with the latest Roe decision, which is to say it's a few steps down the road in the legal process? Or is there some way in which this could come sooner through the federal regulatory process or some other way that it would affect clinics?
Well, you bring up a really good point, which is that fertility clinics are largely unregulated in the United States. The labs of fertility clinics are regulated less than hair salons or barber shops at a time when the Supreme Court has determined that it's okay to regulate women's bodies. The government has not decided that it can or should regulate fertility clinics. That's a scary proposition for all of us. So while this issue may take years to play out in the legal arena, it also will take years, if not decades, hopefully just years, for there to be regulations in the fertility industry.
All right, Adam Wolf, thanks so much for being with us.